with the research, the best level of research we can find that has the most controls on it, is that it used to be about 65% of people, about 40 to 50 years ago, this research was done. About 65% of people had healthy, secure attachment. So about 2/3, which is cool. When they updated that research about 20 years ago, 50%. Not good. Mm-hmm. Then they updated that research about 5 to 10 years ago, as best as they could, right? 65% insecure, 35% secure. We are going very much in the wrong direction.
Imagine that. It kind of lines up with the divorce rates.
Kind of does. Now, you can also take that, though, and you can say something very interesting here. You had said your ideal situation is to have this. I actually agree with you. I think it should be based on healthy people making healthy agreements. But I also think that healthy people can make poor choices. I used to be very against contracts when I was younger. I started a business. I was just, contracts made me uncomfortable. And I had a very, very, very good friend. He's Russian. And he's very, very smart with business and with money. He's taught me so much. And he told me something very interesting. Don't be afraid of contracts. Contracts are your friend because they are there for when things go wrong. Mm-hmm. They're there for when things don't go the way they should. Mm-hmm. They're there to keep people in track when they are sad, when they're scared, when they make foolish choices, when they're just crazy, when they get hit in the head, they're not the same anymore, when they have trauma, right? When the world changes and now you have to adapt to it, you have something to come back around. I actually agree. I don't think that the government should be the one enforcing those contracts, but we've lost every connection that we used to have. We lost our religious connections. We lost our community connections. We lost our local connections. In the old days, if a guy divorced his wife, kicked her out, tried to shack up with a 12-year-old, back then the rates, the ages were low, man. It was a rough time. But 2,000 years ago, a guy kicks his faithful wife out of his house, just boots her out, drags in some young girl to replace her, and she's like crying on the street. His community usually wouldn't stand for that. Her family wouldn't stand for that. The church or whatever religious organization was around at the time, the mosque, the synagogue, or whatever, wouldn't stand for that. People would come and say, "What are you doing? We will beat you with sticks if you do this." They would provide for her. They would care. The government didn't come down and say, "All right, buddy, hey, you owe her." It was the community. I think that you and I are very much in alignment. I think that we need to be educating people in that. We need to be gaining that back. It shouldn't be the government that does this. It should be, look, be decent to each other. Mm-hmm. Care for each other. Maybe have a prenup. Maybe have it witnessed. Maybe have it notarized. Maybe you give a vow. I vow to honor. For my wife, it was I vow to honor and cherish, right?
But do you think, okay, how much of the population do you think really knows about, let's just say, maybe it's attachment, or maybe it's
very few.
Very few. I mean, we live this world all day, every day,
and it's everything we talk about and think about. Yes, but
because it's been so impactful to our life. But there are still men that will come into my coaching practice, and I'll say, what do you know about attachment theory? What was the relationship that you had with your mother? Do you know how that affected your ability to have a thriving relationship with a woman? What subconscious things are happening? What patterns are playing out with it? And they'll look at me and go, no, I've never heard of this before. And I'll give them the 101 and their mind is blown.
Well, and even years back when I got my master's degree in psychology, that was one of the things they told us was, hey, look, attachment theory, it's this old thing from the 50s. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. If you're not treating 2-year-olds, you don't need to know attachment theory. It's not that important. Here's the diagnoses. You should know diagnoses. Treat to these. And most psychotherapists in the United States and Canada, they don't even know about attachment theory. So when I started talking about it years back, nobody was talking about it.
I went to 10. I saw 10 different practitioners at one point as I was growing up, because I came from, again, very similar situation, a broken home, attachment stuff. I didn't learn about it until I was 33 years old. Yeah. And I had to fight tooth and nail. Yes. So imagine the population. Imagine. in a utopian world. And this is what I'm talking about, Adam. I think this is where, the rubber meets the road for me is I don't think marriage is bad. I think it's a beautiful.
And I know you don't. I know you don't. But you make an incredible argument for the people out there who probably do.